Hey guys, so today I have the Hostess with the Mostess collection from Essie. This is a 6-piece CVS exclusive collection for spring 2022. So Essie has not started advertising this collection. They actually just started advertising the Movin' and Groovin' collection, but this is starting to pop up in CVS stores right now. A huge thank you to Janixa at Nail Lacquer Therapy. I will link her channel down below and her Instagram, and I'll put it all over the screen. So she actually found these at a CVS near her and sent them to me. Well, I paid for them, but she sent them to me. And I don't think that this video would have happened without her, because I really just don't see myself going to every CVS in the entire Grand Rapids area only to not find these, which is what happened with the Essie Have a Ball collection, which was also a CVS exclusive. So I had kind of written this collection off because I just don't have it in me to go searching for something like this. So I very much appreciate her, and you can thank her for this video. I'm going to show dupes at the end of this video. So I've picked all the dupes out, but I haven't actually swatched them yet to see how they compare on the nail. So that section's probably going to be done later. I won't be talking about it with my face. I'll just be talking about it while I'm showing them to the camera. But it's something that I did want to include here, and I've wanted to include quite a bit. I just couldn't really figure out logistically the best way to make it work, because going through every single mainstream polish that I have for every single polish of every single new collection is actually impossible. So I decided to try to narrow it down to the closest 3 within the same brand for dupes. So that's what I did for the Essie polishes. I did look at Gel Couture and Expressi as well, but I just picked the 3 closest to every polish in this collection. So I'll throw that in at the end. And 6 polishes here altogether, and I will get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Hostess with the Mostess, and Essie describes this as a peachy neutral with pink undertones. This one was a little streaky on that first coat. It did cover fine in 2, but it didn't level itself out super well. It wasn't terrible, just a little bit annoying. I could also see you needing 3 coats of this one if you're super picky, because I did still have a few minor flaws that I could pick out after that second coat was on. So that is 2 coats of Hostess with the Mostess. The next polish is called In Good Taste, and Essie describes this as a cool-toned taupey neutral with red undertones. Very good formula on this one. It was very opaque, self-leveling. It had a few streaks on that first coat, but they did cover up totally fine in 2. Overall, this was a really easy polish to work with, but I did notice that it dried significantly darker than it was when it was wet. That's pretty common, most cream polishes will do that, but this one was a significant difference. So that is 2 coats of In Good Taste. The next one is called Centerpiece of Attention, and Essie describes this as a mid-tone neutral with yellow undertones. These colors are all pretty easy to summarize, so I think I'll probably be going through these fairly fast. This is another one that had a really good formula, very smooth, self-leveling, very opaque, not quite a 1-coater. I did have some streaks and a few patches there, but it was pushing it. It was almost there, not quite. So that is 2 coats of Centerpiece of Attention. The next polish is called Blooming Friendships, and Essie describes this as a light sky blue with yellow undertones. This one was a little patchy on that first coat for me. It did apply pretty smoothly, and those patches and streaks did cover up mostly in the second coat. This is another one that I could see you needing 3. If you're really picky, you want to cover up just the last few little dark spots and streaks that are poking through. I myself almost did a 3rd coat of this one, but when I'm doing videos, I'm a little more motivated to cut it at 2 because it's faster for me, but I could easily see you needing a 3rd. So that is 2 coats of Blooming Friendships. The next polish is called Buzzworthy Bash, and Essie describes this as a marigold yellow. This is another good formula, another one that's a little bit streaky on that first coat, but nothing crazy. It covered really well on the second coat. This is the color that I really wanted to see in person out of this collection. Even looking at the CVS website right now, the bottle shot looks very orange compared to the yellowy orange that the polish actually is. So that is 2 coats of Buzzworthy Bash. And the last polish is called Rose to the Occasion, and Essie describes this as a watermelon pink with blue undertones. This is another pretty straightforward, solid 2-coat polish. It was a little bit streaky on that first coat, but it's probably one of the better ones out of the collection. That might just be due to it being a darker color, but it covered completely for me on that second coat. It leveled itself out really nicely, no issues here. Not a particularly special color, but a good formula either way. So that is 2 coats of Rose to the Occasion. Okay, before we really get into this dupe section, I have to pop in here. So this whole segment is rough. Okay, there is cat hair everywhere. I don't know how that happened other than me just having too many cats. And the sound is really off. So I learned after I filmed all of this that the Wi-Fi from my phone was actually interfering with my microphone. And so you'll hear this buzzing coming and going as my phone got closer and farther away from the microphone as I was looking up what collections these polishes came from. I did try to fix it a little bit in editing, but it ended up adding this echo, which I think is less annoying than the buzz, but the sound's gonna go in and out quite a bit. I also did a poll on Instagram yesterday asking whether you would rather see the dupes after each individual swatch or all grouped together at the end of the video, and it was almost exactly 50-50. So please let me know in the comments where you'd rather see these, and I can adjust that in future videos. So for dupes, I ended up picking out the 3 closest polishes that I could find within the same brand to the, I don't know, control polish. Otherwise, I would never do dupes because it's just too many polishes to go through for every single collection and then too many polishes to end up showing you. So I'm sure this is not every polish in my collection that would match these colors. It's just the 3 closest that I could find within the Essie brand. And I was actually really surprised to see that there are no perfect exact dupes here. Essie's pumping out all these collections back to back to back to back to back, and it seems like they've got to be duping themselves hand over fist. And they're not really. Like, they're close. Obviously, there's a lot of these that are so close you really don't need both colors. But so far in this collection, I did not find any exact dupes, which is interesting to me. So I'm going to start with Hostess with the Mostess. So that is these 2 right here with my chicken scratch and the little stars. So this polish and this polish are Hostess with the Mostess. And I stuck them in the middle so that it would be really easy to see them next to the other colors. So I think the closest that I have is right here, which is Come Out to Clay, which is from the Rocky Rose collection. This one is a little bit paler than Hostess with the Mostess, but it is still very, very close. And it is showing a little bit closer on camera than it is in person. The next one over here is Perennial Chic, which Google is telling me is from the 2015 spring collection. This one is a little bit less orange. It has that like slightly less corally orange terracotta like tone to it, but it also comes off, I would say probably about the same shade, just a little less orange, maybe a little bit paler. And then this one here is High Class Affair, which is from the 2016 spring collection. So these are the closest that I was able to find. So moving on to In Good Taste, again, that's going to be this one and this one with my chicken scratchy little stars here. I actually thought that all of these were a lot closer to In Good Taste. They especially looked a lot closer in the bottle, but they weren't quite there. So this one here is Buns Up. I think this is probably the closest. This one comes off a little bit darker and a little bit more brown. This one is actually from their Expressi line, their quick drying line. The next closest one is much cooler, but this is Mindful Meditation. This is from the Serene Slates collection from 2019. A little bit more taupey, much cooler. And then over here is Wild Nude from the Wild Nudes collection, and this one is much, oh, there's cat hair on it. That's not surprising. And this one is much darker. Oh, it's still there. And this one is darker and a little bit more brown. Centerpiece of Attention, I actually was not able to find anything close enough in my Essie collection to actually compare it to. I picked a bunch out when I was going through that looked close in the bottle, and then once they swatched, they actually all looked like I was trying to make comparisons to In Good Taste. So I didn't find anything even remotely close to this, so I don't have anything to show you for this one. So Blooming Friendships, that's going to be this one and this one right here. It's another one that I really thought I was going to be able to dupe very, very easily just in my Essies, and none of them are like quite the same tone of blue. Blooming Friendships actually looks like it's starting to go very like aqua blue, a little bit of green mixed in once it's next to these polishes, which to me it didn't really, that aspect of it didn't stand out to me when I just looked at it alone. So I think I mean, none of these are really close. I would say the closest in tone is going to be right here, which is Find Me an Oasis, which is from the Resort collection in 2014. I don't even think Essie does Resort collections anymore. The formula on this was really, really rough. Kind of has that same slightly greenish tone to it. but much lighter and a really crappy formula. This one in the middle here is Essie Blue La La from the 2017 summer collection. This one is much more of like a baby blue, like a very true light baby blue shade. So it looks really off next to Blooming Friendships. And then this one over here is actually, oh, and there's more cat hair. Awesome. So this one over here is actually a Gel Couture shade. This is Getting Intricate, and this came off much darker and dustier than Blooming Friendships. So next I have Buzzworthy Bash, which are these two right here, this left and right center ones. Now I didn't find an exact dupe, obviously, but I thought it was a lot more unique for Essie than it actually ended up being. None of these are exact, but this one right here, which is Don't Hate Curate, this is actually a Gel Couture shade, is very, very close. It's not showing quite as close on camera as it is in person. It's a little more yellow, where Buzzworthy Bash actually goes a little bit more orange once they're next to each other, like a burnt orange. Don't Hate Curate definitely comes off more of a true mustard yellow. And it is a little bit lighter, but I'm surprised at how close they actually were. This center one here is Fall for NYC, which is from the 2018 fall collection. This one comes off surprisingly coral when sandwiched in between Buzzworthy Bash. And then this last one here is Caftan, which is from the summer 2020 collection. And this one actually comes off much darker and much more orange when stuck next to Buzzworthy Bash. And lastly, I have Rose to the Occasion, which is going to be this one and this one right here. This was the easiest to dupe, but surprisingly, I still didn't have an exact dupe for it. Everything that I picked out actually looks like they're probably all dupes for each other, but not quite for Rose to the Occasion. They all seem a little bit darker. And I feel like this should have been so easy to dupe that I am wondering if I missed something somewhere, because I feel like there's no way I shouldn't have been able to find an exact dupe for this in my Essie collection. So all of these come off a little bit darker than Rose to the Occasion. This one here is Buried Treasures from the summer 2016 collection. Again, this is Rose to the Occasion. This one is Toy to the World from the winter 2021 collection, so a very recent collection. Again, Rose to the Occasion. And this one is Eclair My Love, which is from that Essie Summer 2017 like French themed collection that I've already talked about a little bit. So no exact dupes here, all very close, but Rose to the Occasion definitely comes off brighter. So Buzzworthy Bash is definitely going to be my favorite. This is a really weird, like very, very dark mustard color. I really like it. It's unusual. It's a little unique, especially for Essie. Well, I say that, but I did have three like pretty close dupes. But it's the standout here. Like everyone's seen this color, right? Like we've all seen this color, nothing particularly special there. So this one was the standout for me. Even when I was just seeing like the initial pictures of this collection, this is the one that really jumped out as a little bit different from the rest. So that is the Essie Hostess with the Mostess collection. Again, those are CVS exclusive. Huge thanks to Janixa for sending these to me. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.